Good morning, you're with Zaid Kahoot. In the morning, that will be the night before Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Ben. And what a build-up this has had. What a fight that we could be in for. So much to say and so little time. I think obviously everyone's seen the weigh-in. Everyone's seen that Eubank has been fined £500,000 for being slightly overweight. He looks very gaunt and weak, whilst Conor Ben looks fully charged, motivated. He's had his dad by his side throughout the whole process. He seems to have had a great camp. He's sparring with big guys and and bullying them, and everything seems to be, all the momentum seems to be with Conor Ben. And I initially thought, in the last week, in the fight week, that his father would put aside his differences, right, and realize blood is thicker than water, and, be there for his son. I thought, the whole of the Eubanks would be there. Harlem Eubank, his dad, perhaps his some of his other cousins or uncles, and that they'd really come out in force to support him. But all I've seen is him on his own. And he's said that he's come out of his dad's shadow and he can stand on his own 2 feet, and he's shown that, and it's been really impressive how he's doing all of this. So in these types of situations, you do need the support of your nearest and dearest. No doubt he's super motivated and locked in, but the difference it would make if his father turned up would be massive. The difference it would make would be massive. And his father is off the hook. He said so many things which are right and on the right on the spot, the 100% perfect, when he talks about welterweight should fight welterweights and middleweight should fight middleweights, etc., and that his son being drained down is a risk to his health and safety, and he's fearful for Conor's life. All of that is real, and he's right. I've seen people, who are so protective of their children in amateur boxing, even giving away a few pounds or any kind of unfair advantage. And here we've seen it on an international scale, where the governing bodies and everyone have allowed this. So Chris Eubank Sr. is right in a way that this shouldn't be taking place, but it's taken place before and it'll take place again. He never stopped the first fight. He's delusional. Poor guy is delusional. The first fight was didn't go ahead purely because Conor failed the drug test. It would have gone ahead. Christopher Eubank Sr. never had the power to stop that fight, and nor did he ever have the power to stop this fight. He's tried his damnedest. He's tried to get people like Carl Froch to say, look, use your profile. You're a high-profile fighter. Use your profile to say that this fight isn't legal, it's not within the rules, and that it's giving Conor an unfair advantage. But Carl Froch, kept saying, look, yeah, I agree with you, but I believe Chris Eubank can make the weight and perform at his best. So he didn't really get the support from Carl Froch he was after, although they did respect each other a lot. But I was chatting to somebody about this rehydration and how people do it. The problem is the rehydration clause, and he's got to weigh the same again the following morning. I don't know if it's 10 o'clock today or 11 o'clock. He's got to say weigh the same again, which gives him limited time to rehydrate. But what's happening is people are using technology to rehydrate quicker. I'm hoping Chris Eubank Jr. is doing this as well. People have mentioned, I was talking to someone and they mentioned that Canelo has been doing this, and that he uses specific expert medical treatment in the form of a drip. So like he hospitalizes himself, gets himself on a drip, takes plenty of fluids, gets all the nourishment he needs, and then he's fully rehydrated and ready for the fight within a short space of time. So Chris Eubank Jr. has spared no expense in other areas. So I hope, he's paid the fines and he's done all sorts. So I hope he's got a medical team. I hope he gets himself on a drip or does whatever he can to protect and keep himself safe and go into this fight safe, because your body and your brain particularly needs that fluid, it needs that cushioning, and you need that to have some safety in a fight. It's dangerous enough as it is. Anything could happen with any given punch at any point anyway, so it's dangerous enough as it is. So you don't want to go in being so dehydrated that there's no cushioning or not enough cushioning for in terms of fluid around your brain. Now, coming to this fight, I really hope Chris Eubank Sr. turns up, not to take the stage, all right, not to take the limelight, but just to stand with his son, just to put his hand on his son's shoulder and walk into the ring with him and be at ringside and encourage and guide him, because that will, put a huge boost of energy and and confidence into Eubank, who won't show it and he won't be happy like a child, but internally he will feel it. And if that happens, I think you'll see one of the best performances you could possibly see from Chris Eubank Jr. And I think the timing of it would be perfect to disrupt and upset and disturb Conor Ben, so to give it the maximum benefit and of surprise. Would be brilliant if it was a strategic plan all along for Chris Eubank Sr. to turn up tonight at the ring walk. If he doesn't, I'm really fearful for Chris Eubank Jr. because Conor Ben is fully loaded and looking extremely powerful, and without his dad there, I think mentally, emotionally and physically Junior won't be right, and I can see him getting bombed out of there in 1 or 2 rounds or 3 rounds. Anything could happen, right? So it really depends on what happens tonight as to what type of fight it will be. I believe if Eubank's father's there, I think you might see like a really intense battle where Eubank is, firing at the same time as Ben, but down the middle, while Conor Ben's bringing his chops looping around with faster hands and catching and trying to push Conor back. And it'd be, it could be like an amazing fight. And on the flip side, if his father's not in his corner, doesn't do the ring walk with him, doesn't put his hand on his back, it's going to be really sad. And Eubank as Junior said, look, you know where I am, Dad. You're welcome. And he said it in a lot of public press conferences. So he's clearly, and he's mentioned love as well. I'll always respect my dad, I always love my dad. He's mentioned that as well. But it really isn't enough. He did exclude his dad. And if he was to have done it properly, he should have gone to his dad and basically, humbled himself in front of his dad and said, look, I'm sorry, but I needed to do this to create my own profile. Now that I've done it, we can do this together. And on the flip side, his father is off the hook, but he can be excused. He's lost a son. He's lost a son already. It's difficult to excuse his need for the limelight. He still needs that limelight. And he should put all that aside, his pride aside. Even if his son doesn't come tonight, doesn't come and apologize like that. He's apologized publicly in not apologized, but he said in press conferences that I'd like my father to be there, which means he's asking. No doubt in private he will have asked, I think. And if Senior's not there, it's going to be the biggest mistake he's ever made, because it's going to cause damage permanent to the relationship. You won't be there to share in the glory if he wins, which actually it might not be permanent then, because he might go and his son might accept it. But if he loses, his son is going to find it very difficult to come to terms with the fact that you weren't there when I needed you. I don't need you anymore. So I hope that doesn't happen neither. So that's what what we've got tonight. It's intriguing. It's going to be, I'm going to try to go down. I'm going to try to go down today, and I think it's going to be a great fight. If I had to pick a winner, I keep saying if you're good enough, you're big enough, right? So regardless of the size difference, if Conor Ben's got that power and the forward momentum, I think he can win this fight. by mid to late round stoppage. But if his father's not there, it could be crazy quick. I don't think Junior has the poise and the posture and the movement, right, and the ring generalship control like his dad had. I think Conor Ben's better than what his dad was, and I don't think Junior has the same kind of ability to create time and to create space for himself through posturing, posing, and carefully stepping around and creating angles and moving away. I think if Junior dances around the ring and allows Conor Ben that forward momentum, it'll be the wrong tactic. Conor Eubank needs to hold his feet and command respect behind that stiff jab and let that uppercut fly. The uppercut and left hook, it needs to be a combination that Conor walks onto, and a lot of jabs to the body to try to keep him back, push him back, step in. If you can get Conor tuck up behind a high guard, work the body, push Conor back on his back foot, then if Chris Eubank Jr. does that, then he can win. He can win. And with his dad by his side, it could be an amazing performance. Dad being there, I think, is going to be, make a difference. He says it's not going to make any difference to the performance. It does make a difference. It's a reason why parents and boxers want the support of their family and friends in big fights. And so that's what my views are. I haven't exactly picked one. It depends really on a lot on what happens tonight and how Eubank rehydrates. It's one I haven't got the foggiest what's going to happen. It could be Ben early in a stunning stoppage if Eubank's father's not there. It could be Ben mid to late rounds if even if his father is there in a tough fight, or it could be Eubank in a blaze of glory and firefighting, taking Conor Ben head on, pushing him on his heels, fast combinations, digging deep in a epic 11-12 round fight with the late stoppage. So let's see what happens. The rest of the show is brilliant as well. It's a packed card. Lyndon Arthur against Yard. That's going to be an amazing fight. It's always been a good fight. So let's watch and tune in tomorrow for Zaid Kahut in the morning after the night that was Eubank Jr. versus Conor Ben. Thank you for listening.